welcome to another one of my PHP tutorials. I'll also be using JQuery, the JavaScript library, in this tutorial to show you how to make an AJAX login. So I'm going to go ahead and open up NetBeans. I'm going to open up XAMPP as well, start the web server with MySQL, and as soon as that's started, NetBeans has started up. I'm going to go File, Open Recent Project, my first project. This is what I was working on in my last tutorial. Basically I made a login system, and we're going to use that login system to we're going to use the same login system to make the AJAX login ability. So if you haven't checked out that tutorial, it might be worth checking out that one first. I'll put the link to the previous tutorial in somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to go to my web server, my local test server, my first project. Okay, so this is where we were last time, so log in. Eddie and test, I think. No, maybe not. I forgot what I called it. Okay, I'm going to load up my database, which is localhost php and it was, what was it? Config. Test1 is the database name. Where's test1? There it is. Okay, so it's the users. Oh, okay, it's email address. Let's just make sure the system still works. That is my email address, and the password should be test. Okay, that works. Works. Log out. So yeah, so we're gonna make it so you can log in, and the system will know you're logged in without even having to change the page. This is known as AJAX, where the page changes, content on the page changes, without even having reloaded the page by sending a JavaScript request. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is on my index. No, what am I doing? Login. Yeah, I'll do it on the login page. Okay, so in the header maybe. Just include another page. Okay, I'm just going to quickly make a footer file so I can actually get some proper HTML syntax going. So footer.inc.php. Okay, this file is literally just going to, might as well just be HTML. It's going to be body HTML. I'll just require that on every page. Include it. Okay. Not that page, just home. Login. And index. Okay. So now I've included the footer, so that means in the header I can actually put in some header HTML. Get rid of all that. So after this I'm going to put in what's the head. Okay, and then close HTML. No, not that. What am I doing? Open up body tag. Okay, that's what I want. And in the header I can also include some JavaScript. So what we need to do is, because we're going to use jQuery, we need to go get the easiest way to get the jQuery library is to get it off, is to link to the Google Code one, hosted one. Google Code jQuery. So click that link, blah blah blah, jQuery. We want the latest one, just copy that code there, which will include the JavaScript file. So now we should have jQuery available to us in all the pages, because they include the header, and I've included that JavaScript. So just make sure we're pressing F12, developer tools down here, frames, scripts. Okay, jQuery is there, it's all good. So now we can use jQuery. So the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a JavaScript file by going sources file, new JavaScript file, and I'm going to call it not AJAX, login. That'll be called login.js. Let's just test this works by I'm going to put the document ready function. So this is how you do it. Document.ready function. Okay. What's wrong with this? That's not right. There we go. This means that all the code within this function will only run if the document is loaded, which is always a good practice. So, just to test this works, I'm just going to do a JavaScript alert test, and of course I'll need to include this on the header page. I'll just put it in here. So you need to link to this script, so script src. Just for good measure, I'm going to put a type. So the src is going to be ./login.js, and now if I reload the page, there you go, test, because it's loaded the page properly. Press F12, resources, and there we go, we've got login. That's it. So that is being loaded on the pages correctly. I'm going to take the alert out because that would be annoying to always happen. So now we can start writing our login JavaScript function. And the way you sort of do this is you have a separate file, which I'm going to create here, a PHP file, and that's going to be called AJAX. And this will handle the requests from JavaScript. The way we're going to do it is we're going to send post data here. So on the AJAX page, when it's called, if not is set, post, I'm going to call it rec for request. So if the request variable is not set, then just kill the script and say no request provided. Else, if post rec is given, if so I'm going to call the request to login post rec. So if that equals login, then we're going to handle a login request. So if no request is provided, if a request has been provided, if the request is login. So if the request is login, we're going to run some code, but I won't do that yet. So here we're going to use the JQuery functions methods to send an AJAX request, and the way you do this is $.ajax. You then open up curly normal brackets or braces, and then a curly bracket. Inside here is effectively an object. The type is going to be, just put in post, comma, data, which is the post variables. We're going to have, which is another object, so we're going to have rec is going to be login. So that'll be post rec, that'll be available to us. That needs a colon, sorry. So we've got rec login. We're going to have to give it a username and a password, so it has something to use to log in. For now, I'll just put FFF. We'll put in a real variable there soon. Don't worry about that for now. And so that's our data. And on success, this is a function that will be run when if the request is successful. That doesn't mean if they log in successfully. That just means if the request gets sent okay. So on success, we're going to return in data, which is the output that AJAX PHP will output. So here we've got to go write code. We'll do that afterwards. But this should send an. In fact, this is totally wrong. This will need to go in a click function, because we don't want it just sending an AJAX request with this as soon as the page loads. So I'm just going to comment that out for now. NetBeans has a nice little comment feature here. If you click this button, it comments it all out. So I'm going to make another option on the login page. So if they're not logged in, then what am I doing? If they're not logged in, if the submit button is set, oh, of course it's on the index page. I need the index page. That's where the actual login. Okay, this is so if they're not logged in, it's going to output this form. I'm going to make it output another form, which will just be for AJAX login, just to test. So I'm going to copy and paste this code here. I'm going to paste it underneath. I'm going to put a HR tag here to separate it out. HR. Okay, login AJAX mode. It's a bit silly. You would never do this. You would never have two different login systems on the same page. But oh well. We're just testing. Don't need to set this. This ID is going to be AJAX login form. Right, I still need these fields. Yeah, I still need these fields. ID I'm going to have to rename because we've already used this ID. So ID I'm going to call AJAX email, and AJAX password. Doesn't. I probably should rename this as well. The name. AJAX. Yeah, because I wouldn't know what to use otherwise. Actually, no, it should because it's a different form. Oh well. Submit button. Okay, so this is going to be called AJAX login button. And now if I refresh the index page, we should have two forms. So we've got login and login AJAX mode. If I click this, nothing should happen because it's not going to properly try and log us in. So what we need to do is we need to set up a listener for when this form here is submitted, or we could set it up when the button's clicked. And we need this to return false, so it doesn't actually submit the form. So what we're going to do in the login.js file is we're going to have we're going to make a listener. So it's going to be this is how you do a listener in JQuery. You $, open up brackets, open up quotation marks, a hash for an ID, just like in CSS, and then it's called AJAX login form. Was it AJAX login? Don't think we renamed it. Index form. Yeah, AJAX login form. So AJAX login form dot submit, and then we put function in here, like you're writing a normal JavaScript function. The first one I'm going to put is return false, so it won't submit the form, and above this I need to copy and paste this code here. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to uncomment it using NetBeans' nice, quick and easy way. So when the form is submitted, which means when this login button is clicked, it will now submit an AJAX request with these details here. It's going to be a post AJAX request, and it's going to send login and the username and password of FFF and FFF, which won't work. When we get success back, the data back is going to be data, so we can then let's just log whatever's output for now. Console.log data. When we do console.log, it should appear. If we press F12, it would appear here in the console, but we haven't tried it yet. So let's give it a go. Let's refresh the page. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to open up, press F12. I'm going to click console. I'm going to click login. And what is going on here? Looks like it's just returning the form. Hang on. What is it doing here? Data. What's going on here? No, I'm going to move this to separate pages so I can include it. So I can include header in the AJAX page, which I need to do anyway. So I'm going to move this here to no, it should be okay. No, it shouldn't. Won't be okay there. That's what I'm going to do. Just put in this HTML there. Need to do this on all the pages. It's a bit messy, but well. If I was properly planning this, I probably wouldn't be copying code like this. Wouldn't need to. Home page. See, the home page won't need this. It will not need the login script, so I don't need to include that there. I will need it on the index page, which I've already got. Login page, I won't need it either, but I will need the rest of it. Won't need that either. Okay. It's now on the AJAX page. I should probably include the header. Require it, because there's no point even bothering running the code if running this page if we can't get the header, because we need all the connection to the database. So now, here, it shouldn't solve the problem, but I just want to try this again. Okay, I don't know why it's returning that at the moment. If I go to network, I can see the request. If I then click XHR, I can see exactly what happens. So when I click the button, it's sent. If I click this, it shows me what I sent. It's like sending the entire page. What is it? Oh, I think I know why. This is why. On this page here, I haven't actually set where it's going to. Very silly of me. There's another parameter here, URL, and that needs to be /ajax.php. That's there. This should then send to the AJAX page rather than sending it to the same page, which is then just reloading the page, and that's why it's returning the output of the page. So now if I press F12, and now if I go to console and click it, it doesn't output anything, which is exactly what it should do. It shouldn't output anything. On the AJAX page here, if I go to here, so if the login request is sent, I'm going to create a JSON object. So what I'm going to do is create a variable called JSON. That's going to equal an array, and I'm going to set this up like this. And success is going to be false by default. Message is going to be blank. Success is false. Blah blah blah. And request, just for validation purposes, is going to return exactly what this request is, which is login. When I get to when I've finished logging in, I've still got code to write here to do login code. I've still got stuff to write here, but here we're then going to print the JSON encode. JSON encode JSON, which will then print it in a way that JavaScript can read. So it will print this array. So the way I tend to do it is I will put error messages in message, and I'll set success to false if it doesn't work. And then on the JavaScript end, it can then read this in data, which is what it will output, and perform actions appropriately, depending on if this was successful or not, depending on the message. So, if not set, if the user post user, so if the username isn't set, I'm going to go JSON success equals false, and JSON message equals is going to be no user provided. So if it isn't false, if it isn't set, I'm also going to or empty, or if it's empty, user so if it's got past that stage, and I'm going to check if the password is not set or if it's empty. So if post password, Is it pass or is it pass? Just pass. So if post, if not set, post pass, or empty post pass. Similar message, success equals false. JSON message equals nope. Password provided. So if I got past those two stages, another else statement, then I'm going to actually try and log in. So I'm going to say user equals, let's clean the data, MySQL real escape string post user, and password will be MySQL real escape string post pass. So if the username is set and it's not empty, and the password is set and it's not empty, I'll put a few comments in here. If the user is not set, or if it's empty. If the user is set and it's not empty. If the password is not set, or if it's empty. Right. Okay. So I've cleaned these variables now, and I can try to use them to log the user in. So let's go and have a look at the login page and see how it's done. So if they're not logged in, blah 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 blah. Okay, so I'm literally going to copy this code here and tweak it a bit. Yeah, copy this. That's it. Next page. Going to indent this nicely using tab. So if the password is, so the password is then going to equal okay, so it's then going to be right, okay, I'm just going to change this so that just says password. Okay, so that needs to be changed, password, blah blah blah. Okay, post email. That's actually going to be, I can get rid of that because I've already cleaned the string. It's user. Password equals, I've already cleaned that string, although it has been changed again, so I'll just leave that. Okay, that's good, that's good. Okay. That should be okay. Just need to change this slightly. So this is, if the user and address are correct, then they've logged in. So what I need to do is here, I need to go JSON success equals false, true, and JSON message was logged in, I guess. This is if the username and I think it makes sense. If the username and email address and password are not correct, then I'm gonna go JSON success equals false, JSON message equals user or password, username or password, username and password are incorrect. Okay, so now blah, blah, blah. So if a request has been provided, if the request is to log in, create a JSON array. If the username password are not set or they're empty, then do an error message. If they are both set and they're not empty, clean the data. password's going to be hash the password. Try and find the users if the users exist and the password's correct, blah blah blah. Log them in and return JSON. Well, don't return. Set the JSON success to true, so the message logged in, or the passwords are incorrect, set to false, and then output the JSON response. So that should have logged them in. If I'm then back on the login page, it should then okay, let's just try this. It should return invalid. Okay, if the it should return that invalid password or username. So let's just try it now. I'm looking at the console using F12, so it should return. Okay, so it's false, no password provided. So something's going wrong here. Sending pass AJAX. This is why. Spell that wrong. If I refresh, so again, username and password incorrect. So it's sent back the JSON object. In fact, I need to pass JSON. How do we do this again? Okay, so data is going to equal data equals. Is it JQuery? Might need to look this up for a second. Hang on. No, I don't. No. Okay, I remember. JQuery dot pass JSON data. In fact, I'm going to call this var JSON, and then output JSON. It will output it as a JavaScript object. Should be nicer. See, object success false. Username password incorrect. Okay. So here we can now have an if statement. So we go if JSON dot success. That means if it's true, else if the user has logged in successfully, if the user has failed to log in, then we can do different outputs. So I'm going to do an alert here. So congratulations, you've logged in. Alert. In fact, I can put further if statements. So if JSON dot message equals, let's find what we said. In fact, we can just make it output the message directly. That's probably the best way to do it. So let's just go alert JSON dot message. Don't need to log it anymore. So if it's successful, it's saying congratulations, you logged in. Otherwise, it will just display the message. So let's refresh and try that. Log in. Username and password are incorrect. And that's come directly from the AJAX request, which you can see in network, and then click XHR. See exactly what happened. So this is what was returned from the output. It's quite good to use developer tools. You can see exactly what sort of requests are going. If I click it more times, more requests show up. So yeah. So if I go, not helping anymore. So we can also what we want to do now is get the actual username and password that we're inputting here, and the way to do that is to go to the index page and check what we called it. So we called it AJAX email and AJAX password. So what we need to do on the logins page is we need to use a selector. So it's going to be like this: AJAX email dot val. That will get the value of that HTML element. Let's go on here. AJAX password. Now, okay, so now it should send the real username and password. So it should now, if I use my real credentials, in fact, no, it isn't. What am I doing? It's just Eddie. Test should log me in successfully. Congratulations, you've logged in because I've used the real credentials. And now, if I was to go to the home page, I should be logged in. There you go. I'm just going to delete my active user to log myself out quickly. Should be here. Good. Okay. What I'm going to make it do now is, because we know it's logged me in successfully. I'm now going to make it change the HTML here. So the login box will disappear. So what am I going to call this? I'm going to create a div. I'm going to put a div around this area here, just so we can get rid of it. So div ID is going to be AJAX login area. Not a great name. Div. So AJAX login area. I'm going to change the if they log in successfully, I'm then going to change the HTML there. Use a JavaScript selector, AJAX login area dot HTML, and I'm just going to change it to a big H2 tag saying logged in. So that should change if they log in successfully. Wrong link. There we go. So if they don't log in successfully, using it's incorrect. Blah blah blah. Eddie at creations.pk. Test. She logged in. Click OK. Logged in. There you go. So that is now sent an AJAX request. The AJAX request has gone away. It's got a response. The response come back as data. I then pass the JSON of data, so I've now got it in a JavaScript object. I've then gone if it was successful. They've logged in. I've then changed the HTML of the AJAX login area to H2 logged in. And if it's not successful, I display the error message, which is set here in JSON message. I don't use the JSON message if they have logged in successfully, though. I just haven't needed to. I could even use it here. I could go logged in. Instead of that, I could just do this. I could just go JSON.message here. See, so now I'm logged in. So I'll just log in again. Edit. Test. Just logged in. Okay, logged in, and that now is using the message as part of what to output instead of the login form. So now it knows I'm logged in. If I refresh the page because I'm logged in, I'm now greeted with a log out button. So yeah, that is an AJAX login request. Just to summarise what we've done here, is we have created another login. It shouldn't break this old login, by the way. What we've done is we created a new form. We didn't need to, but I thought I would, just to show you the difference, which still has an email and a password field. When that login button is clicked, because we've loaded in the login.js file here, it is then, when that button's clicked, it's then sending an AJAX request via using post, because you don't want to send passwords for a get variable. It's never a good idea. We're sending it to ajax.php. We're sending it the post data of rec, user and pass, which will be available in the post global array. The content of the AJAX email field is the username, and the contents of the password field is the password. When we get a message back, data is the output of ajax.php. We're then getting the JSON version of that object, so we can use it easier. If that is successful, we're displaying congratulations, you've logged in and as an alert, and we're changing the contents of the AJAX login area to display that you're logged in. Otherwise, it will just display the error message that was returned from AJAX.php. In AJAX.php, we require the header file because we need it to make sure we still have access to the database functions, to the database itself. If a request isn't set, it will just say it's dead. So if I just, for example, just go to AJAX, what we're doing, test server. If I just go here and I just go to AJAX.php, it will just say no request provided because we don't want people going to that page on their own. We just want it to kill itself because we don't need to do anything. It's only used for AJAX requests. So if an AJAX request is provided and that request is login, it will create a JSON array. Don't get rid of that to do now. If the username isn't set, it will set it to false, so no user provided. If the password isn't set, it will set it to false, password is provided. Otherwise, it will try to log in the same way that the login page does normally. I clean up the variables here by escaping them. I then query the database to see if the user exists with that password. If it does, then they've got the password right and the username right, and we log them in by inserting them into the active users table, just like in the previous tutorial. We set the success to true, and we set the message to logged in. Otherwise, they failed, their username or password was incorrect, we set it to false again, and we set the username or password incorrect to the message. And then we print the JSON encoded array. Well, the variable makes it puts it in a string format that can then be converted to a JSON array by JavaScript, to a JSON object JavaScript, and that's what it is here. Data is literally the output of AJAX.php, which is a JSON encoded output of this array. That's the easiest way I find to use JSON. And once on this page, as I say again, it just, So I hope you've understood what sort of the process has gone in here. AJAX is pretty simple once you know how to do it. It's really powerful. It can make your websites a lot more dynamic sort of feeling, not having to refresh to get new content independent, So I hope you found this tutorial useful. I'll be doing some more soon.